This is class 9th ICT NCERT. This is chapter 1, Basics of Internet. In today's world, ever-changing technological world, the globe is in our hand. The information is with us. We have a mobile, we have say laptop, and we all are connected to internet. Internet was evolved in 1969 under the project named ARPANET, which is Advanced Research Project Agency Network. And this is to connect the US Department of Defense with the universities in the US. And soon, when the engineers, scientists and students and researchers they get involved, they started exchanging the information and messages. So in 1990s, the internetworking of this ARPANET and NSFNet and various other private networks, they formed the basis of internet. Therefore, the internet can be talked as the global network of computer networks. So it comprises of millions of computing devices which are carrying, transferring information. Desktop computers, mainframes, these GPS units, the cell phones, the car alarms, the video game consoles, these are all connected with the net, that is the internet. World Wide Web. What is World Wide Web? WWW. The WWW was invented by Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. In 1995, the first connection was established over what is known today as internet. And by the end of this 1990, the first web page was served. And in April 1993, this WWW technology was made royalty-free to everyone on this globe. After that, web has changed entirely. This is the most powerful and useful communication medium that the globe or the world has ever known. The global web of computers, we also know it as internet, which allows us to communicate, to share information. This is called as World Wide Web. So it's very quick, fast, easy, dependable exchange of information way, and this is the paradigm shift in the information age. So World Wide Web is actually an internet-based service which has some rules or protocols on the background of it, just to distribute the documents and other media across the internet. This WWW we can call just as web is actually the part of internet. There are so many things on internet. So the web is viewed through your application program, which is known as the browser. It can be Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox. And using this browser, you can read documents, read articles, journals, ebooks, news, tutorials, and whatnot. And what all are stored in web servers. They are stored in web servers. So we have thousands and millions of web pages, websites, they are added to WWW every instance. What is the difference between the internet and WWW then? The internet is actually a network. So it's a interconnection of computer networks, or you can say computing device. So it's a massive, gigantic network. It contains millions of computers, and they form a way to communicate between us. Computers are there, computing devices are there, and they are connected to the internet. So this information they pass or they travel through the internet via a variety of protocols or rules and languages. So this WWW or web is simply web. This is just a massive collection of digital pages that are HTML pages, various pages to access information over the internet. So the web uses HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, in order to transmit, send, receive data, right? In order to exchange the business logic. So the web browser also uses, or the web is being employed by browsers like the Internet Explorer, like the Firefox, like the Google Chrome, in order to access the documents. Like just like your MS Word document, we have web document which are generally written in HTML, and they are all linked together through hyperlinks. And this pages contains graphics, sound, text, videos. Search engine. Now, today everywhere we have Google. Why we know Google? Because it has changed our life. Whatever we put on the Google text, there is only one bar. with one edit bar. You just place your content. You want to find, everything will be there. You want to find a hotel, you want to know about someone, you want to know the information about something, you can just type in that in search engine. But search engine is a very, very complex program. Web search engine, we have Spider, you can call it as a crawler, which crawls to different pages. And when the pages of context, they are being indexed. So we have another program which is called the indexer. This reads the document and creates an index. Just take an example of a book. You don't go to a book and of 1000 pages to search your content. You go to the index. You search that content and just turn to that page, which is the index here. So each search engine, it has a very complex, you can say page ranking algorithm, which gives you the result on the basis of the keywords you have entered. So a search engine specifically has some order. First, we have a web crawler, then all this indexing is being done, then this searching is done. You cannot search all the pages in the world. You cannot. It will take humongous amount of time. So you need to have some way, algorithm to do it. So web crawling, this web search engines work by storing information about all the pages, and those which are informative pages, those are retrieved by the program known as web crawler or web sprider, which follows the links, hyperlinks. When we have indexing, as we just said about the book, we have index. So this will facilitate the fast and accurate information retrieval, because if you don't have index, there is no means, there is no way how to go through all these thousands and lakhs of pages. Then we have searching. Searching, this, whatever query you place, this will fetch the content you have played and that are being crawled and indexed. That information will come in front of you. So these are all the search engines, maximum we have given here, but there are so many. You cannot have all of them. Google, AOL, Bing, web crawler, Ask, Yahoo, my web search, info.com, all these are search engines. But it started all with, at that time, Alta Vista, all these were there. Web servers. What are web servers? Those which serve. So this web servers is a combination of a hardware and software, but essentially it is a software only. So a server is that computer that will serve the client, and the entire structure of the internet is based on client-server model. So web server helps to deliver web content through the internet, which can be accessed, and the most common use of this web server is to host website. Web server is that place, that area, that memory where you place your websites, and the internet is not only used to fetch the information, but internet can be used for gaming, data storage, running business application. So this is the idea of web server. You have a web server program here. We'll talk about that web server, and this is a huge machine that contain that web server program. And these are the clients, different clients, which through internet interacts with it. They ask for certain page, it will return that page. It asks for gaming, it will render the gaming. So the primary job of this web server is to deliver web page to client. So the communication between this client and the server, they take place using generally HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, in order to get the page. So this delivered web pages, they may include images, style sheets, scripts, audio, video, whatnot. When we have server software, whenever we are dealing with the web server, we are talking about server software. Web server, also known as application server or HTTP server. Let me tell you that web server is different from application server. Actually, web server is a part of application server. So web server is a part of application server. So this is a program that serves content using what protocol? HTTP protocol. So this content is generally in the form of, say, HTML documents, the images, various resources. It can include any type of file. The content which is served by the web pages, they can be static, they can be dynamic. Let us see some server software. Apache web server, or you can say HTTP web server. This is from Apache Software Foundation. This is free and open source web server, and this can be installed in various operating systems. Most of the web server machines, they run on Apache web server. Then we have Apache Tomcat. This is again a free and open source web server. This is again, and this can run again on various operating systems as listed here. So it was developed to support the servlets and JSP scripts, Apache Tomcat. So it can also serve as a simple standalone server. Light PD, Jigsaw, there are various others. So Light PD is a free web server distributed with free BSD operating system. So if you have a free BSD operating system in this, you will already have Light, this LIGHT TPD, or you can say LIGHTTPD. This is open source web server, quite fast, secure, and this consumes less CPU power. It can run on various operating systems. Then we have Jigsaw. This is World Wide Web Consortium server, WWW. So this is introduced by WWW Consortium. This is a consortium which deals with web content. So it is open source and free, and this can run on again various operating systems. This is written in Java, so it can run CGI script and PHP programs. So what are these services which are provided by servers? There are so many services which now web server provides, and these today we have cloud computing, this software as a service, infrastructure as a service. There are so many things which cloud computing provide. So cloud computing is a distributed computing over a network. So you can just buy an infrastructure, you can buy a software. Why to purchase a software when you have a software which you can use on per pay basis? This is used. There is a large number of computers. This can be connected real-time communication on the internet, and this is how this services, various humongous servers provide you the service. So these web servers, they are cost efficient. They provide the resource sharing. They are providing the data sharing, and of course the day backup and recovery. If you are aware that if your things fall down or your system fall down, you always have something to recover. What are the type of server? There are different type of server. Mail server. The mail server, they provide centrally located pool of disk space for network to store and share the documents in the form of emails. So since all the data is stored in one location, the administrator need only backup files from one's computer. Then we have application server. Now this application server, because you are dealing with some application, every company has their own application. So this application server, it acts as a set of component accessible to the software developer through application programming interface API defined by that platform itself. For web application, these components are usually performed in the same running environment as its web server, and therefore their main job is to support the construction of dynamic pages. FTP, when you want to send and receive files, large files, FTP, File Transfer Protocol, uses separate control and data connection between client and server. So FTP users may authenticate themselves in the form of say username and password, but they can connect anonymously also from here to here. And if for secure transmission, we have username, password along with the SSL, that is the secure socket SSL layer. We also have database server, because most of the application they have database on the background. So this database server is again a computer program that provides database services to other computer programs or computers using client server model. So this DBMS or database management system, they provide database server functionality, and most of the DBMS, they depend and they are on client server model for database access. So such server is accessed either through say front end running on the user computer where you create a request, or you can have a back end where the request is served, such as data analysis, storage, etc. Then we have domain name system DNS server. So this is basically a translation scheme. So the name server is a computer that is a computer server that will host networking services for providing response to queries. So it is actually a translation. Whenever you write something on say a web browser, that www.yahoo.com is nothing by itself. It has a translation, that is an IP address where this www.yahoo.com is being stored. Actually Yahoo is stored. Yahoo is the name of that folder which is kept in some IP. So it maps a numeric identification, we call it as IP or addressing component, So this service is provided by the server in response to network service protocol, which is the request. So what is the primary idea or function of this DNS server? This is just the resolution or translation of human memorable domain names and host names into the corresponding numeric, that which is the IP address where that Yahoo folder is stored. So the secondary function of DNS is to recognize a namespace of the internet in order to identify and locate the computer system and resources of it. What is a website? Website is simply a folder which contains the web pages in HTML and in various web technologies. So this is just a collection of web pages on the www World Wide Web, and that is accessed by its own internet address. So this folder is kept inside some web server and it has some IP address, and you can access it by the address of this website. So there are essentially collection of related web pages. So each website contains a home page from where you start, along with all the accompanying or additional pages. And it can be owned by, say, individual, company or an organization. Since now, since earlier times when they were only static pages, things have changed. Now we have websites which are very dynamic. How website is different from portal? Portal is a bigger form of website. Means essentially, if you go to www.yahoo.com, you will see a web page, or you can say a home page, where you have news, you have weather, you have a search engine, all various things are there. You click some link and you are directed to that link. So web portal is a medium by which user access the resources, while the website is a destination by itself. And there are two distinct entities, and as I just exampled that there is a Yahoo portal, and the yahoo.com or the email or the website can be accessed through this. Okay, so website is also a portal if it is going to broadcast information from different independent resources. So this, if it becomes, or the website starts having independent resource links, then you can say it is a web portal. But web portal essentially means, or it redirect you to some website or services that have varied resources, like you can have on a portal email, forum, search engines, online shopping and whatnot. And we have various web portals. Some of the examples are AOL, iGoogle, Yahoo, and there are so many. And as we said, website is just a location where your web pages are stored. So it is a location or a domain name which is hosted on some server and which is accessed via the internet. So website is collection of web page, images, videos, and you put a URL, uniform resource locator, on your browser. On your browser, you just put this link or write this link. This URL finds that folder in that system, web server, and then you can access it. So website provide content from independent resources to, say, some specific audience, and the content of website is quite focused and contains the material which need to be exist, or that exist and you can access it, and they are quite focused, means they are portraying or they are giving information of something which is of one you can say specified area. What are the components of website? A website has a web page, or they are a combination of web page. So a web page, first of all, the contents of a web page will be a web page of a website. It must, or this is advisable that it should contain basic element like the page title, the URL, the file name, the header, footer, navigation, web page content. These are all the parts of the composition of a web page. Now the latest is HTML5 and CSS3. So now we have audio, video, all this can be kept inside a website. Then we have graphics, and since this totally depends on the internet speed you have. So if you want to put graphic, you have to see, because website you can have graphics. There are so many websites which provide graphics. Then the heading of the site, this is very crucial because the search engine, they are going to take this heading of the website, then only they're going to index it so that people can access it. Color contrast, even for those who have poor vision or color deficiencies, your color should be such that the combination should be such that they should be perceptible and soothing, and people should visit it again and again. Like you can't have a black background and a white color on top. That will be very difficult for various people to again visit your website. So what are the elements of website? If you are dealing with website, or you intend to make a website or maintain a website, your website should have a very good visual design. A site must be appealing, must be professional, and it should reflect, if you are making it for some company, it should reflect your company, your products and your services. Today the websites are made responsive. That is, even if you use it on a tablet or a phone or on a desktop, you'll be able to see, or the web pages are going to change or acquaint themselves according to the screen. Then of course the color scheme and formatting, as I just said, there are certain colors that are good for website, and the text formatting should be good. The font should be of proper size, like 10 to 12 is ideal. Then the graphics should be meaningful. Whatever you are giving in website shows your character, your company's character. So that has to be very, very clean so that customer could visit it. It should be simple for anyone who is coming, because anyone can come. You have opened it for the world. Now, if you have complex design, animation or various other effects, that is going to, if they are good, they are going to impress your viewers. If they are not good, they are going to annoy your users. And the content should be relevant. You can't put the irrelevant things on your website that will make a customer to leave your website and don't come back again. Navigation. Navigation means if a user comes on a website, he should get the links such that he may be able to visit various other pages and he may be able to come back. So all these you have to make your page, break them in such a way, organize in such a way so that you don't frustrate the visitor. The hyperlinks should be active. They must point to the pages you want a user to be sent. Then the scrolling should be less, means a long page nobody is going to read. Consistent layout. Every page should have some consistent layout. Then cross-platform or browser capability. The website you are designing must cater to various browsers which are available, various cross-platform like Mac OS, like Windows, etc. How to construct a website? Before constructing a website, you have to see that when you make a website, you don't only put in some folder in your computer. You have to give it to or open it to the world. For that, you have to buy. Say you go to GoDaddy or HostGator. There are so many. You have to find a place in the web server of the web hosting service. For that, you need to buy a place and buy it for some years, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. And you have to buy a name also, the domain name of your website, by which user are going to put the URL of your website, and that will come. So first step is hosting. So first step is on constructing a website is to decide about the web hosting provider. There are so many, and there are several types of web hosting option available. Free web hosting is also there, and you can have payment based web hosting is also there. Then domain name, the URL, that is the domain which user is going to know, or your website or your web pages are known, will be known by this name. So you have to buy that. Then plan your website. After you have decided, or you have got the domain name and for how many years that domain will be active. Now you have URL also. Now make your website. Make a website in the latest technology. Use the server side technology and client side technology like the HTML, the JavaScript, the jQuery, the PHP, the ASP, the there are so many. You can take advantage of the latest technologies, and then you can make a good website. Select the type of website, because you can either provide information, you can provide product or reference site. So just use a good language, good formation. Then, because website can have one page, even one page can also be called as a website. But because nowadays a website can have multiple pages, so these are multiple pages you have to make, and publish your website. Now you have made a website, now you have a URL. Now there are so many FTP clients that I hope the hosting service is going to provide you this FTP client. Now you have made the pages, now you can do the FTP, you can send it to the server, web server, where you have taken the place, and then means if you update also, you change also, you can, using the FTP client, you can send it. Now the thing is, website you need to promote. The only making a website is not going to work. You have to tell people, you have to do certain promotions so that people understand, know where your website. There are so many ways. You can make a Facebook page, you can send to your friends, try them to visit your website. Once it is popular, then your business activity can go on. Then website cannot be left idle. You have to see the latest trends in the market. What is going on? You have to change the things accordingly, make your page dynamic, and visit and change them on the regular basis. So there are various software. Not only one software is used for making a website. For example, this is a coffee cup free HTML editor. You have Dreamweaver. If you want a very lightweight application to make or to write the HTML content, then you can go for a Notepad++. This cater variety of web technologies. We have PageBreeze, Firebug, Bluefish Editor, Bracket, so many. Composer, OpenBexy, and GIMP for you have to put some images also. Blue Griffon. So I'm just giving you an example. If you search your search engine, you'll find the latest one which are being used. Now, what is a web page? You might have worked on Word, Microsoft Word. You make a page. You write something in the form of a paragraph. You give spaces. You insert images. You insert table. So this page is simply a web page. Means when you publish it in the form of HTML on the internet, or now this page becomes available when you make it as HTML. When it becomes available to the users on the internet, this becomes a HTML page. So web page is also known as electronic page. This is a part of World Wide Web, and it's just like a page of your book. So basic unit of every website or document on the web is web page, which contains the information. The web page may have article, single paragraph, photographs, combination of text and graphics. So a web page may contain some static area or may contain some dynamic areas. The static page will not change, means static part will not change. Dynamic page will change. Dynamic part will change. Say you are putting, say, your vision. Now your vision and your ideas, they are static. A company has a static vision. Well, but say you are making a website for crickinfo.com. Now some cricket is going on. You want to change the score every second, every microsecond. So that is how this dynamicity comes into picture. So static and dynamic areas are like this. So what makes a web page work? What happens when you see a website and web page work? See, first is the server receives the request from a page sent by a browser. So here is the browser. You write a URL. Now this client send a request to the server. Now this is a web server. there is a page, there is a website here. Now this link or this address will request. Now the browser connect to the server through some IP address. This web server has some IP address. This IP address is obtained by, on the background we have domain name server. So this is going to translate the content you write to the IP address. So in return now, the server will send the required page to the browser. So what is the difference between a web page and a website? Web page is a single page. A single page can also be a website. But a website is made up of number of different pages. And this website, they are hosted properly and they have hyperlinks so that you may navigate between different web pages. What is a web browser? Browser is an application. It is a software. Now this browser has an address bar. Here you put the address, say enter, and this will connect to the web server. And then you get the website here. So browser is a software that lets you view the web pages, graphics and online content. And this browser software is specifically designed to convert this HTML and XML into your readable format, means you can read this. HTML is a language, okay? XML is also a kind of language. But if you are able to see it in a proper way, that is web browser. So there are various web browsers: Google Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, Opera, UC browser. There are so many. So browser, typically, this is just an example. This contains various buttons like the back button. What you have opened just now, you can back it. What you have accessed after this, you can forward it. This is a back buttons. Forward button, if something is loading, you can stop it. If something is not loading, you can refresh it. Then you have home, that is the home page will be seen. You can search on this website. These are the favorite website you are visiting. This is history of all the website or all the pages you have been to. So this is all options which you generally find in your web browser. But right now the browsers like Chrome and Firefox, they provide you with so many options apart from SSL. What is SSL? SSL actually stands for Secure Socket Layer, and this is again a protocol. And you might have seen today's website, whenever you type on your browser, this comes automatically, HTTP, HTTPS. Actually this S is your secure socket layer. This makes your communication secure. So this uses the HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and TCP, Transport Control Protocol, in order to make your transmission secure. It provides the security to your transmitting messages. So what is socket here? This is referring to the socket method of passing data back, means back and forth between a client and a server in a network, or between program layers in same computer. Since the network or on internet, the layering system is governed by TCP/IP. TCP/IP layering scheme is there. There are 5 layers, right from physical layer, network layer like this. We have data link layer. So there are 5 layers in all. So there is a kind of communication, and every layer has some activity to do. So this SSL uses the encryption system. This is public and private key encryption system, which also includes the use of digital certificate. These are various web browsers which are available like Google Chrome, Safari, Maxthon, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, Internet Explorer. Netscape Navigator, the first open source available for the public. There are so many, we are just giving some of them. Avant browser, YouTube also has its own browser. UC browser is now gearing up. Blogs. Blogs is actually short form of web blog. And previously in newspaper, in magazine, people used to write their column. Famous people, or those people whom other people follow, they used to write certain column. So the blog is just like that, because now the world is of information and communication technology. So this has taken a different perspective. The thing remains same. The blog is a website like any other, but it offers the personal opinion of maybe an individual or people about their hobbies, interests and commentaries, say photo blogs. See, so it all started with some online personal diaries, but because the world is now technology driven, now the businesses have also taken up, and they also they are into writing blogs for for customers and clients, for offering them new services, offering them new products. And blogs are now used also for the commercial purposes, and anyone can start a blog. But many people, they are using this blog in order to earn money also. As we said, this is a very good way. If you are very good, if your writing is very good, or people follow you, then it is always good to have a blog. So social network companies, they have realized how popular blog can maybe, and they have started offering you free blog space. And there is one more thing, that once you write your, say, some new post, then there is a comment section. People comment, they tell you to do this, they tell you, or they say whatever you have done is or written is correct, or they give you opinion basically. So there are two ways of starting your own blog. There are free blog hosting sites, and there are paid blogging also, like WordPress and all these. They are providing you free blogs, so you can start your free blog. And there are plenty of free and open source blogging software available. Then we have paid blog, means you get a space, and that space is maybe a part of a website, or you can have an individual blogging space. So there are various type of blogs, but we can try to categorize them in different, depending upon the thing they offer, the content they offer. They can be categorized in as personal blogs, news and views, company blogs, and microblogs. So personal blog, the first one, this is the most common one, most popular one. Even if we talk about our country, Amitabh Bachchan, all the popular celebrities, they have their own blog, and people follow them. People follow them because they share their thought on some event, some activity, some incident that has happened, and their thoughts by themselves also. They can post stories, they can post their opinions. Then we have news and views. Most of the popular mainstream media, they have their own blogs, like BBC has its own, NDTV has its own, you have Z News, they have their blogs. Then we have companies. Various companies, the giant companies, they want to interact with their customers. They want to show, they want to give their offering, they want to take their thoughts to customer, and just to have a kind of conversation and keep those client and customers with them. They have these company blogs. Then microblogs, we have microblogs. These are very, very new type of blogging system. You might have heard about or you might be using the Twitter. Twitter gives you 140 character. See, I'll give you an idea. The American president, Donald Trump, before he was elected, and now also, he did everything, and he shared his thought on anything which is happening around the globe or in America using Twitter. And this made him so popular, and his followers are so many that now also, after being, after 1 year being in power, he still uses Twitter as his way of communication. This is microblogging. Now, bloggers. There are so many people who have taken to blogging. Those who were writing pen and paper, using pen and papers, now they have gone and they have started blogging, because what you write can be posted on some web page, and these web pages are available around the globe, not only to the circulation area but to complete world. So the person who writes blog is called the blogger. He is known as a blogger. So there are various ways how you can blog. You can associate this to your blogging, to social networking websites. You can get more viewers and readers just in order to get their interaction and promote your content to them. So if you are a good blogger, please understand, blogging is an art. It's an art. So everyone cannot be a blogger. You have to be very good in your art, in your content, so people come to you. So first of all, you need to have a meaningful content. The language should be simple, concise, and some surprise element has to be there. And it must, capture or captivate the attention of the viewer. So remember, you need to be original. This will increase your credibility. Don't make your blog boring. Try to be, don't use cliches. Keep your writing very informal. You can be funny or quirky, but don't make it such that people don't like it. Whatever you are doing, you are assumed to be good at that topic. See, I just indicated about Donald Trump, and he is very good at, very active in Twitter. So if he makes spelling mistake, there are so many people who are following him. That spelling mistake is not acceptable, right? So if you are good, you need to post error-free, proofread it, edit your work meticulously, and once you are satisfied, then hit the publish button. And the title is very important, not only for you or your customers or your clients or your people who are following you, but also the search engines. They take your title, and on the basis of your title only, the search engine rank your page, and then your ranking improves. What are the advantages of blogging? The most important part which bloggings offer you is you can be anywhere. Say in Bahamas, you might be relaxing, but if you have a desktop computer and a wireless internet services or internet services, you can easily blog. You are your own employee. Then you can take any time. You can even write at 3 o'clock at the night. The flexibility it offers you means the opinions and thought you have, it can come anytime. You can just post them. It is very easy to set up, and it requires least technical knowledge to be a blogger. And as I said, you need to be updating things. Means don't keep your page static. Always reply to comment. You can do that, or give some content which is always in the updated world. But there are disadvantages of blogging as well. That means the earning will not, if you are seriously thinking about blogging, the earning will not start in one day. It needs some time. Blogging is time consuming. You need to be disciplined, because whatever you are writing has to be very good. And you have to be very active, because people, thousands, lakhs of people, they are reading that blog. Okay, so don't lose your followers. And you know that you are public to everyone. So just check your language. This is how this language only represent your character. And there are so many blogs which are very dull. So you need to find out that you should not be one of them. URL. URL is what? This is Uniform Resource Locator. When you have a web browser, you have a address bar here. You put this address, and this address you put is the URL. And URL is nothing but the address of the website which is kept in some remote located web server. And once you write and click hit, there is a DNS which changes your www.yahoo.com to some IP address, say 192.123.51.61. Okay, so this changes, and this IP is actually the IP of the web server where this Yahoo is being placed. So this URL, these are the web browser addresses of internet pages and files. So this is a way to locate a file or a document on the internet. This specifies the address of the file. This is actually the address of a file, and every file has its unique address. So you are actually dealing with the IP address. This is in words, but it actually translates to the IP address of that machine or the system or computing device where that web pages are being located or being placed. So the browser, this use specifically the URL in order to retrieve the file from here, from where the content is residing. So this is the format of a URL. First, this is called as the protocol. This can be HTTP, this can be FTP, this can be HTTPS. Then you have a site address, and this is nothing but the host computer, that is the IP address. This is the name. You will be typing some name, some word or string, but that will essentially be transferring or translating into the IP address of host computer. So this now ends with some com or org, com for commercial, org for organization.au, that is in Australia, .in is in India, like this. Then you have the path, because it is stored in some system. So what is the directory? What is the path? So this file name or page name is displaying the path of the related information. For example, here, this is a protocol. This is your host computer name. It can be, this 127.0.0.1. So it can be your computer itself. This is a domain name. This is the domain type, commercial. This is the path. From here, it is the path. So you have password.html file inside this login folder. So there are two types of URL essentially, the absolute URL and relative URL. This absolute URL is independent or free from any relationship. So it is independent by itself. It specifies the exact location of a file or directory on the internet. So when you are using this absolute URL, you are actually targeting a single particular file. So each absolute URL is unique. That means if you have two URLs that are unique, they are actually pointing to the same file. And these URL are always preferred. This absolute are always preferred because they make the maintenance of your website quite easy. And if you are transferring the website from, say, one domain name to another, then the absolute name will always be good. You need not to update each link on each page. So this is an example of the absolute URL. In this URL, it specifies, say, an image file hardware.gif. This is located in images directory under the domain name, this one, www.developers.com. So if you want to include the image file, say this one, stored in the images directory of www, this domain name on this page, this is what you are going to use. So using an absolute URL, this is inside your page. So this is actually the HTML code. That is, image source is this. You give a width and height. Now let us come to relative URL. So this is a very targeted to a file or a directory, and this is in relation to the present directory or the present file or a directory. So it is related to somewhere you are. So if the website have several sections and the files and web pages, for each section they have to be placed in different directories, and this keeps the things organized and uncluttered. You cannot have just one folder and all the files inside one. You ought to have some different folders where you can have related files. So these relative URLs are quite shorter than absolute URLs. So the file size of the web page will also reduce. This is an example. I'll show you an example of relative. So if you want to include, say, image file, this one, as we saw in the absolute one, in the image directory of this one domain on this page using an absolute URL, then how you are going to do this? This is the image tag. This is the actual HTML page, HTML code. So this is image source. Now this is what it is being given. That is dot dot. Dot dot means previous directory. Dot dot means previous to previous directory. Okay. This dot dot means this. So this is how you give a relative path of the folder in which this zip file is there. Protocol. Now, whenever you want to communicate, means you are talking to your dean or the principal of your college and your friend, how you are going to talk with them? You cannot say, Dean, hey there, how are you? How you are, man? No. With friend you can say, how are you, man? Where you have been? You have not come to my house? Let's play. So there is a protocol which you follow in this internet also, or in communication also, whenever we are exchanging information on networks, there is a proper protocol. There are a set of rules that needs to be followed. So we have various layers, TCP, IP, ISO, OSI layer, and these layers, all layers are they are governed by certain rules. These are called protocols. They all are documented properly, and every network layer, it follows this rule. Okay, so they exist at various levels. As I just said, the various layers are there in communication. So we have various popular protocols used in internet like the World Wide Web, FTP, Telnet, Gopher Space is there, in instant messaging, email like SMTP is there. Types of protocol, let us discuss them. What are the type of protocol? TCP IP, Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So we have TCP and IP. This TCP and IP, they have different work. So this is basic point-to-point communication from one point to another. And this may be a sender, this may be a receiver. Now, it is used as a communication protocol in all types of network. Today on internet, we use TCP IP. So whenever you are connected to the internet, your computer provides you a copy of this TCP IP program, which is used or when you need to send messages or to receive information or messages from some other computer. So TCP IP is a two-layer protocol because one is TCP, one is IP. What is this TCP? This TCP layer, Transmission Control Protocol, it is managing the message. That means the messages are divided into packets, and these packets are sent to this sender, this is receiver. So in the form of packets, these are being sent to the receiver. So once these are being divided into packet, these are reassembled as in the form of packet and to make a actual message. So this is the task of TCP. Now, who decides and who is responsible? Because the path can be like this. The path can be like this. You may be sending, say, from India to, say, Australia. There may be so many paths that can be followed. So from here to here, one packet may go this way, the other packet may go this way. So who is going to decide that the source, the sent packets, they are received at destination only? This is the work of the IP, Internet Protocol, right? HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So these are again the set of standards that allow users of the www to exchange information which are found on web pages on internet. So this is dealing with the web pages. So this is defining how the message will be formatted, transmitted, and what action web servers and browser has to take in the request response scenario. And we have browsers, you don't need to write HTTP or HTTPS today. You just have to write the URL. It will take automatically HTTP or HTTPS, right? Then it is still used in browser because of the need to access other protocols like the FTP. I'll talk about FTP, File Transfer Protocol. So this HTTP, it provides a standard for web browser and servers to communicate. And this is essentially for sending and receiving the web pages. Web pages means HTML pages. Then we have File Transfer Protocol. See, you have made a website. It is on your system. Now the web server can be anywhere. You have taken a space. You have taken a domain name. Now whenever you change a page, how you send this website or say image or something, you use the FTP. So this FTP is a standard protocol used on network to transfer files from one host computer to another host computer using the TCP based network like the internet. So this uses separate two things, control and data connection between the client and server. This is a client, this is a server. So to use FTP, you may authenticate using some sign-in protocol, using the username and password. You can also go in anonymously. You don't require username and password for most of the FTP. And for secure transmission, this data is encrypted. This is encrypted. So on the background, it is using the key, background SSL. It is using. In order to transfer the file, as I said, you have a client, FTP client program, and it initiates the connection to the remote host or remote computer using the FTP server software. And after this connection is established, the client can choose it to send, or it can even request for receiving the file. So if you want to connect to FTP, as I just suggested, you can go with username, password, or anonymously also. You can be anonymous also. So now with FTP, you can update, delete, rename, remove, copy file at a server. And this can be any file, not only HTML pages, but it can be any file. FTP using this TCP/IP, it exactly work as HTTP used for transmitting the web page from server to user browser. So this is a kind of thing which deals along with HTTP different other files. So these FTP sites, they are heavily used and require several attempts before connecting. In order to use the web browser to connect to FTP site, we use URL like this. FTP, you have a username at the rate of whichever FTP client, like the FileZilla you are using. So let us summarize what we have learned up till now. World Wide Web is an internet-based service. These are actually a set of rules which are known as protocols to distribute the documents, that is the web pages, across internet in some standard way. The internet is nothing but a massive network of networks, gigantic network. So it connects millions of computers together globally, and by which we communicate. Search engines are what? These are a way to extract information from the ocean of data. The search engine works in this way. First web crawling is done, then indexing, then searching. A web server, commonly it is also known as HTTP server and application server, but the web server is actually a part of application server. Application server and web server are not same. So this is a program that serves content using HTTP protocol. The web server, which is, as we just said, that it contains article, it can have single paragraph, even it can have photographs, it can have many various things. HTML5 is there, what all are possible, you can have it in your web page. The browser is a software that lets you view web pages, graphics, and online content. Then we have SSL, this secure socket layer, it is a protocol. It uses HTTP and TCP for managing the security. This is for security of message transmission on the internet. A blog is just like a website. It is intended to offer personal opinions of people on their, say, hobbies, interests, commentaries, photo blogs, etc. URL is Uniform Resource Locator. These are the addresses you put in the web browser for getting the internet page and files. So it is the way to locate a file on document on the internet. There are two types of URL, absolute and relative. And what are the protocols? These are the rules. These are the set of rules that govern the communication between computers on a network. So this is all about this chapter, which is the basics of internet. Thank you so much and take care of yourself.